Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops with your boy, Nikki P. Y'all know what time it is, man. Y'all see the thumbnail? Where my real hoop heads at? Let's jump right into it. All right. So, what is a point guard? It's all about point guards today. What really is a point guard? For the first 50 years of basketball, the answer was simple. He was an extension of the coach, the floor general. His job was to bring the ball up, shout out the play, get the ball to the big man in the post or the shooting guard on the wing, and only shoot if the shot clock was about to expire if the defense completely forgot he existed. But if you watch the NBA today, if you watch a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Lola defender to sleep and pull up for a midi, or Tyrese Halliburton throwing a no-look dime from half court, you're watching a completely different species. We've seen the point guard evolve from a facilitator to a franchise cornerstone, from the guy who set the table to the guy who is the meal. Today, we're going to travel through the decades. We're going to look at the 5 distinct eras of the point guard, from the 70s to now, using the archetypes of the all-time greats who changed the position forever. Era number 1, the 1970s, the pure maestro, the past first general. To understand how far we've come, we have to go back all the way to the 70s. This was the era of the pure point guard. In this era, scoring was considered a selfish act for a point guard. Your job was to assist, period. The gold standard here is Oscar Robertson. Though he started in the 60s, his prime carried into the 70s. Oscar was the original triple-double machine at a time when teams weren't stat padding and trying to force, your stat sheet to get triple-doubles every game. It was just all organic, all natural. But he wasn't doing it by hunting all these stats. He did it because he was physically overpowering. At 6'5", 220 pounds, he was a tank. He could post up a smaller guard, but his primary directive was to organize the Cincinnati Royals and the Bucks. Then you have Walt Clyde Frazier. If you're a real hoop head, you're gonna know who that is. If you watch the Knicks highlights, Clyde was style personified, but his game was substance. He was a lockdown defender and a maestro in transition. Clyde once said, "The ball doesn't sweat," meaning let the ball do the work. In the 1970 finals, he dropped 36 points and 19 assists in a closeout game. But even then, the 36 points were a footnote to the 19 assists. The 70s point guard was an extension of the coach on the floor. If a point guard averaged 20 points a game in the 70s, people thought he was a ball hog. They didn't trust him. The hierarchy was clear. Center first, point guard last. Moving on to the 1980s, the maestro meets the scorer, the Showtime catalyst. The 1980s changed everything, and it's because of one man, Magic Johnson. Irvin Magic Johnson. Magic shattered the mold. He was a 6'9" point guard. He wasn't just a facilitator, he was a cultural icon. Magic showed that the point guard could be the best player on the floor, period. He could start the fast break, finish the fast break, and post you up. Magic redefined the position by introducing versatility. He proved that a PG didn't really have to be the smallest guy on the court. He could be the engine of a dynasty. But while Magic was a showman, you had Isaiah was the bridge between the old school and the new school. He had the passing vision of the 70s guards, but he had the scoring mentality of the modern guard. Isaiah could get you 25 points and 15 assists on any given night, and he did it with a killer instinct that we now associate with shooting guards. In the 80s, the position started to bifurcate. You still had pure point guards like John Stockton entering the league. Stockton was the ultimate traditionalist, the all-time assist leader at the time, a number that would never be touched for a very, very, very long time. But you also had the rise of the scoring point guard. The 80s told us, you can be the leader of a championship team, but you have to be a threat to score. And then we moved on to Era 3, the 1990s, the rise of the combo guard, the anomaly. The 90s is where the positioning gets confusing. The NBA was dominated by centers, Hakeem, Shaq, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and of course the shooting guards, Michael Jordan. The point guard in the 90s was often seen as a bus driver. You got the ball to the big man, or the MJ, or the Clyde the Glide, or a couple of them dominant wings like Dominique Wilkins. But then came 2 anomalies who changed the trajectory of the position forever. First, the glove, Gary Payton. GP showed that a point guard could be the defensive anchor of a championship-level team. He was the only point guard to ever win Defensive Player of the Year up until, I believe, recently. Marcus Smart, who was at playing position of point guard for Boston Celtics, did it not too long ago. Somebody fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure Marcus Smart got one as he was playing point guard. But still, it wasn't the same. Gary Payton was a trash-talking, physical menace. He proved you didn't have to be 6'9" to dominate. You just had to be fearless and relentless. Then there was Tim Hardaway. Hardaway popularized the crossover dribble, the UTEP two-step. Before Hardaway, point guards dribbled with their back to the basket to protect the ball. Hardaway faced his defenders up, broke their ankles and their kneecaps and legs, and created his own shot. He was a prototype for the modern scoring point guard. The 90s gave us the combo guard label, usually a derogatory term meaning you weren't a true point guard. Guys like Kevin Johnson and Rod Strickland were criticized for scoring too much, which is absolutely ridiculous because they'd be balling out in today's era with their same exact games. But they were laying the groundwork for what was to come. The 90s was the awkward adolescence of the position. And of course, we can't forget about the other 6'9" anomaly that was balling in the 90s, Mr. Penny Hardaway. And moving on to the era 4, the 2000s, the volume scorer, the MVP architect. If the 90s was the adolescence, the 2000s was the revolution. Two men entered the league in the 90s but defined the 2000s, Steve Nash and Allen Iverson. Let's start with AI. AI was listed at 6 foot, but was probably about 5'10". He was the ultimate scoring point guard. He won the MVP in 2001 in what arguably was the greatest era of hoop ever, dragging the Sixers to the finals, and he did it by being the primary scoring option, all under 6 feet. He proved that a point guard could lead the league in scoring multiple times, 4 to be exact. He broke the mental barrier that said point guard's job was to pass first. AI said, "I'm the best scorer on the team. Why wouldn't I shoot the ball?" Which makes perfect sense. On the flip side, Steve Nash took the traditional skills of John Stockton and supercharged them with analytics and pace. Thanks to Mike D'Antoni, playoff, allergic to the playoffs, but a maestro in the regular season and running those offenses and high scoring, shoot first, shoot under a certain time in the shot clock type of offenses that kind of broke the game and broke the pace of play open. Nash won back-to-back MVPs in 2005 and 2006. And, a lot of folks don't really believe he should have won those, but maybe I'll get into that in another video. But he did so by revolutionizing the 7 seconds or less Suns. Nash showed that a point guard could be the MVP without being a lockdown defender or a high flyer. He was the ultimate system player, but the system revolved entirely around his decision-making. Then you had Jason Kidd, who was the bridge. Kidd took the New Jersey Nets to back-to-back finals with defense and transition passing. He wasn't a great shooter early on, but he was a triple-double threat every single night. The 2000s established the point guard as a central figure in offensive design. Coaches stopped yelling plays from the sideline and started letting the point guard read and react. The position was no longer about running the play. It was about being the play. Moving on to the next era, the 2010s. The 2010 to now, the positionless superstar, the hybrid unicorn. This brings us to the modern era. The last 15 years have completely deconstructed positional labels. It starts with Steph Curry. Steph Curry didn't change the point guard position. He changed the geometry of the game. Before Curry, point guards were judged on assist-to-turnover ratio. Curry redefined the value of the position by asking, what if the point guard is the best shooter in history? Curry's gravity, the fact that he warps defenses as soon as he crosses half court, meant that the point guard role became less about passing and more about creating chaos. He was a unanimous MVP without being a traditional facilitator. He proved that a point guard can win championships as the team's leading scorer, not just a setup man. Then you have Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose. They took the athleticism of Isaiah Thomas, injected steroids into it, and added a vertical dimension never seen before. Westbrook made the triple-double mundane, proving that a point guard could be the most physically dominant athlete on the floor. A lot of flack he gets for some of them triple-double seasons where teammates were just clearing out, allowing him to get rebounds and stat padding, as I was alluding to earlier. But back to it. Today we have the final evolution, the guard forward or the point center. Look at Luka Doncic, 6'7", 230 pounds. He's listed as a guard, but he plays a point. He's a hybrid of Magic Johnson's size and James Harden's isolation scoring. Or look at SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who leads the league in scoring and plays point guard. He doesn't just run the offense, he is the offense, the catalyst that everything goes through. And defensively, guys who have been put at the point guard position on numerous occasions like Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart have shown that the modern point guard must also be able to switch on to forwards. The position has gone from being the smallest guy on the court to often being the most versatile guy on the court. So where does that leave us? We started with Walt Frazier, who thought the ball shouldn't sweat. We end with Luka Doncic, who holds the ball for 10 seconds every possession, sizing up his defender like a lion sizing up prey. The point guard position hasn't just evolved, it has inverted. It went from being the least important scoring option to the most important scoring option. It went from being the coach's puppet to the architect of the entire franchise. The pure point guard, like John Stockton, the guy who gets 14 assists and 8 points, is almost extinct. In today's NBA, if you're a point guard and you can't score 20 in a game, you're likely coming off that bench or going down to that G League. But maybe that's okay, because the evolution of the point guard is a story of basketball itself. In a nutshell, it's a story of athletes becoming more empowered over time. Magic Johnson showed us the point guard could be the star. Steph Curry showed us the point guard could be the system. And Luka, SGA, and the next generation are showing us that eventually the point guard might just be the best basketball player on the planet, regardless of position. And for those of us who love this game, watching that evolution is one of the greatest highlight reels of all. Thanks for watching. What y'all think? What y'all think about the evolution of the point guard? Y'all think it's for the better, for the worse, indifferent? You think it's just going to keep going in a cyclical fashion where we're going to eventually revert back to the traditional point guard sometime down the line and it's going to start all over again and hit the reset button? What y'all think, man? Go ahead and chime in. Thanks for watching. Y'all know what it is. It's eat, sleep, breathe, the hoops. And this is your boy, Nikki P. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, follow, share, super like, all that. Comment up in there and let's get this discussion going. And until the next time, peace.